Hi, everybody. I have a surprise for you. So I know you guys see the guy in the corner. That's Will.
Hey,
Welcome, Will.
Will.
Welcome to Oh Just Talk. Lydia and I are so excited and happy that you're on with us today.
Thanks.
So before we get started, Will, if there's anything, let everybody know where they can find you at on Twitter or another social media platform.
Okay.
It's yours.
All right. Well, ladies, so very happy to be here. Vonda, I've always been a fan of yours. Lydia, it's good to finally get to meet you and get to know you on this platform. You guys are doing some great things, so I really appreciate you asking me to be on. And plus all of the other followers that heckled me to come on here. So thank you all too. Appreciate it. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit, but for most of the people that follow me on Twitter, my handle is Chili_Willie_Jr. So Chili Willie Jr. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat. I keep it close to Twitter. And I try to just have like a really small social media footprint. So Chili Willie Jr. and it'll probably be in the comments below, I'm pretty sure, or your description below. So, but that's where you can find me.
Well, I have news for you. You're about to blow up on Twitter.
Maybe.
Your following's not gonna be small anymore. You're about to blow up.
Okay. All right. So Vonda, I am here to meet your challenge.
Yes, I can't believe it.
So let's talk.
Let's go.
Go for it. So I'll let you do the introduction from the last you did the original podcast.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, so if you guys remember, on the last episode, Lydia and I had a discussion about cheating. And what's ironic is that most women don't have a problem admitting when they've cheated or done something wrong. After the fact, they'll own it and they'll discuss it. The vast majority of men will not. They won't do it. So, Will, why do men cheat? Your perspective.
Okay, so first of all, men cheat because they can. Let's just start there. Let's just start there.
Look at Vonda's face.
But it's a different reason. It's a different reason why men cheat, and men cheat often for different purposes and to achieve different objectives. Just let me break it down like this. Men are more cheaters in a physical sense. When men cheat, it's physical. When women cheat, it's emotional. So let me separate those two things. If I was the spouse of someone and I became very emotionally attached to another woman, she would find that harder to forgive than me being physical or close, than being close. For a man, if his wife or girlfriend or spouse was physically cheating with somebody, he would find that very offensive. Probably wouldn't care or put too much weight on, oh, you're texting this guy. I may get upset or annoyed, but it's the physical part because that's what men identify with. Women identify with more of the emotional part of being in a relationship. Men identify with being more in the physical part of being in a relationship. So when they share that with somebody else, it's so personal and they know that. We know that if you find out that I was physical with somebody else, because my brain is wired to think that the physical part is important, they know you're going to be upset. They know it. They know you're going to leave. So they keep that. They hide that part. Whereas if he had a phone or something like that, and you were tracking who he's engaging with on social media, emails, things like that, texting and stuff like that, that would probably bother you if you found it, because you're giving our emotional connection to somebody else. That's cheating. So the reason they hide it is out of shame. That's the reason they hide it. They hide it out of shame. They don't want to be discovered. It's the same reason women hide cheating. Like, let's not get it twisted here. Men and women cheat. So now let's go to the other problem here.
Oops.
Women who are in these relationships with men that they know are with somebody else. If a woman says, I'm going to be with this guy and I know he's cheating on his wife or his girlfriend, but I'm still going to be with him. I mean, she's just as bad. But some women can just become physical and that's it. They put up a firewall and that's it. So some women can become physical, just like men. But I think that the thing is, I think women are much better at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Women are much more adept at keeping secrets. I tell you, all you need to do to figure out like how good women are at keeping secrets is watch a couple of episodes of the Maury show or one of these shows where the woman is trying to figure out like who's the baby's daddy, because there's 5 guys out there, like neither one of those guys knew that the other guys were with this woman. But the reason the reason men don't tell is because they're ashamed. That's the bottom line. They're ashamed, and they don't want to lose what they've already built.
Okay, so Will,
Yeah.
If a man is married to a woman, he has a wife, there's no problem with sex, there's no problem in the bedroom.
Yeah.
She cooks.
Yeah.
Cleans. Attentive.
Sure. Then why?
And if that woman says, you know what?
Yeah.
I married one man, you married one woman.
Right.
You don't step out. You don't sleep with anybody else but me.
Right.
Why is that so hard? How does a man even open up the door to get to the point with another woman to where, you know what? We're going to meet here at 7:00. Right. I'll be over. How do you even get to that point? How does a man get to that point?
Okay. So remember when I first started off, I said the reason men cheat is because they can.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I've heard that.
So as human beings, it's just like any other animal in the animal kingdom. We're not really wired per se, just mentally that way. It's the rules. It's the vow. It's the marriage that's actually the checks and balances on a person's conscience. So let's come to terms with that. So when you're married, you have to say, here's the firewall for me to stop cheating. That's the first thing. Now, that's kind of hard to fight for some people when they're wired just to, be cheap. Like, let's be honest. Some men just like to have many, many different relationships. So those are the types of men that shouldn't get married. Let's be honest. And I believe most women,
but men don't disclose that.
But most women know who they're marrying. They just don't want to admit it.
I disagree with that.
I
disagree with that one.
No,
I don't think so.
I disagree with that one.
If you don't know who you're marrying, so I have another point here too. If you don't know who you're marrying, you shouldn't marry him. My second point is this. I think over time, what we fail to realize is that just because you're married, it doesn't mean that you can't find another person attractive or beautiful or of the opposite sex, right? I think we've all been in relationships and somewhere where we're not with our significant other and we see somebody and go, wow, that person's beautiful, or that man is handsome, or things like that. So I don't think that's an issue. I think what happens is, and I think that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with, if a man gives a woman a compliment and she's married, some women just find it offensive. But like, how do I know? Right? How do I know? Right. If I'm walking in the airport, I'm not gonna be like, "Damn, girl, you hot," or something like that. You thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, like I saw this guy on
oh my God,
on this short TV show say. I'm not going to do that, but just paying a nice hello or something like that, very respectful. I don't think there's anything wrong. Now, some people take offense to that, but I think the point I'm trying to make is, I think there's room for people to admire people of the opposite sex without making it sexual. I think there's room for us. We've gotten away from just being able to give someone a compliment without the recipient thinking that there's more there, because sometimes there just isn't. Sometimes people can just say, hey, how you doing? I think you really look nice in your outfit, and that's it. So, and then the other thing too is to try to understand this concept that it's okay to be attracted to another person, but you have to have some discipline and commitment to that vow. And when people lose that ability, then the trust breaks down. People start having wandering eyes, and then before you know it, it snowballs, and that's how people get themselves in trouble.
That's an interesting perspective. And as far as compliments, that shit ain't happening. No man that I'm with better not ever give another woman, unless it's his sister, his mother, grandmother, aunt, a compliment.
So if I saw you in the airport and I said, "Hey, wow, you look really nice in that outfit,"
and you don't know me,
or just wow, I'm like you're beautiful or something like that,
and you don't know me, and you're married, is your wife with you when you're giving me that compliment and telling me how beautiful I am?
maybe not, maybe.
Exactly. So if you can't do it when your wife is around, you have no business doing it at all. And you know what? I don't like terms of endearment. So when I'm in a relationship, and my mom told me this.
I do.
Yes, she does.
Okay.
If a man called you baby or honey, he called every other woman before you that same term of endearment.
Okay, so I was just giving an example. I'm not saying you would go, hey,
No.
you look thicker than a That was just an example.
Yeah. Oh, but yes, but no. But Will, I don't agree. I do not agree. If you can't do something in front of your
people can't
spouse,
give compliments to each other. Then is that what you're saying?
not if you're married. You can't. That crosses the line. If you can't.
It crosses the line. It crosses the line if it becomes sexual and things like that. I agree. But given some, like, people tell me I'm handsome all the time. I'm not gonna get offended by that. And married people.
No. Yeah, you're not. But okay. But if my husband wouldn't tell Lydia, you know what? You fine. If you're not gonna say that in front of me, you don't say it when I'm behind my back.
All right.
I mean, do you see the point I'm making?
So to all you Twitter people out there, if you're married right now and you're sending me messages,
you're wrong.
You're saying
they're wrong.
Okay.
They're wrong.
Well, keep them coming, people, because I'm okay with the.
See, well, and all of my followers know I don't do DMs. So
I don't mind. I think sometimes it's good to have to expand your viewpoint, and who knows, like maybe sharing some admiration or adoration for somebody else may actually be a little bit more encouraging for them in their own relationship. Maybe that kind of helps them appreciate their own relationship. And the other thing too, I would add is that I'm always respectful of people that are in marriages, and if their page says I'm married or something like that, I'm always respectful of that. I'm not going to cross the line if they think, hey, let me give Will a compliment. I'm not going to cross the line. I know you're married, but let's hook up. No, it's not about that. But I do believe that we've gotten away. When people cross the line and they start getting themselves into this area where I call it like a tipping point, where things can just go really, really bad, really, really quick because you're putting yourself in some compromising situations or having, discussions that may be compromising, then I think that's when, you really need to put the brakes on it as men and women.
Gotcha.
And both do it. So
I agree with that.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people know better. So,
But I don't know. Some people just had really bad examples of relationships growing up. So some of them don't know better. And
go ahead, Lydia. I'm sorry.
You were talking about how, when people are when you tell them, hey, you're married, sometimes you get the things that you get someone saying, happily? Really?
Yeah.
Rhonda, that's true.
That is true.
That is true. People, not everybody's respectful of marriage.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. So, not everybody may be respectful of your marriage, but if you show disrespect for your marriage, why would you expect somebody else to?
Well, good point.
That's true.
Yes.
And even when I was in a very bad relationship, and we spoke about this a little bit yesterday, Vonda, even when I was in a very bad relationship, there's never a point where I felt like, I needed to find solace or peace or, a confidant in somebody else outside. It was just, I just need to get out of this situation in order to improve myself. And if people find themselves in those situations where, they're responding to feedback, they're responding to the compliments and things like that, then they already know they shouldn't be in that marriage,
That's true.
You already know. So, instead of making life bad for 3 or 4 or 5 or other people, and it may include kids, sometimes you just have to do that gut check and say, I just need to do what I need to do to get out of this situation. And I think we want to talk a little bit about that, why do people stay?
Yeah.
But just get out of that situation, because there's nothing worse than going around with the conscience that you can't leave. You have to live with yourself at some point. Wow, that looks good. Let's admit it's 116, and make sure that's not Bailey's up in there.
Oh, I need some.
Oh, you never know with Vonda.
What was that, Lydia?
I said, you never know with Vonda. It might be Bailey's.
True. I'm going to have to get some.
Let's go, Vonda. Let's go.
Lydia, did you have anything else you wanted to say about? I think Will hit on some good points about why men cheat. I really do.
Right.
And I do think, men and women will do what they can get away with. But for me, Will, I don't know if you remember, and the segment that Lydia and I did,
yeah,
the first time I got cheated on, I did not like the way it made me feel. I said, I'll never do this. I'll never do this.
Yeah.
To anybody. And even, I filed for divorce in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2021 is almost here. I didn't entertain it. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of respect to him, but because I respect myself more.
That's right.
And I was still married.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have the discipline of a veteran, right? You have the core values. You have the core values of a veteran, and I think, I think that says a lot about an individual. Like, some people just don't. I remember when I retired and started working in private sector. I remember how, I saw the professional corporate workplace, and I was like, this would never fly in the military. It's just like something completely different out here in some respects. So I think, having the core values and discipline of being a veteran may shape your way of thinking about how you deal with tough issues, even in marriage. So.
But, and not to bring up a whole different can of worms, but aren't there like a lot of people in the military who cheat?
Absolutely. Opportunistic. It's opportunistic.
I mean, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It's opportunistic.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's opportunistic. And I don't, a lot of times, and I don't know the whole, psychology. I don't proclaim to be a psychologist or an expert on this. This is just my personal opinion. So let's put that out there. And people may have different opinions as to why men cheat. Some people may say that men or women cheat because they're lacking something in their marriage. Some people cheat because they just can. Some people cheat because, they're never home, or they feel like their partner doesn't love them or respect them anymore. All of those may be legitimate reasons. But at the end of the day, you have to make a conscious choice. You have to make a decision. It's just like buying a car. You go, you spend some time, you look at it, and you think, I want this one. I'm going to make this decision. Cheating is, I'm not equating it to buying a car, but there's a decision process that goes on in your head. There's time that happens from the moment you consider it to the moment that you say, I'm going to do it. There's time there for you to say no. There's time there for you to say, stop, I shouldn't do this. There's time for you to think about the implications if you have children. It's time for you to think about what that would do to trust if discovered. There's time to think about all these things. And if you fail to use that time, I always say, whenever, it's just like communication. Somebody says something to you and you respond, the time in between is yours. You own that. Just like deciding to have an affair or cheat. You own that decision between I can and I will. You own that decision on how I'm going to do it. And you can say, I'm not going to do it at that point. So
I don't think I'm capable of having an affair because I'm not being number 2 to anybody.
Some people want to be number 2.
Like the king that he is, and I'm gonna be number 1. I couldn't even have it. I wouldn't like it. I don't know how people's minds go there. I'm not being number two to anybody.
Right.
Anybody. You got to know your worth.
Some people want to be number two and they're okay with that.
Oh, yeah, I know why, Will. Thank you. You're right. It just came to me. You know why? Because a man will spend what is perceived to be a bunch of money to make up for the lack of time on the side chick. That's
Maybe.
why.
I don't know. I don't speak for all cheaters, so let's put
Oh, okay, Wilson. Well played.
but I will say, I always go back to, the core reason is because they can, and they will find a justification in their head to satisfy themselves that they're doing the right thing, and they will try to hide it out of shame of being discovered. And a lot of times they invest so much in the number one per se. They invest a lot in that one that, if discovered, that's lost, and it's terrible. And then I think, I do want us to transition on to staying in bad relationships, because I think there's something to be said about people that know that their significant other is cheating on them, why they stay, and things like that. And I think for me, it was this whole idea of starting over, and I think that's something that people have to they have to confront, and they have to reconcile in their head if they're in a relationship that's damaging for their spirit. Because for me, it was damaging to my spirit, and not only that, it was damaging to, quite frankly, my ego. And I was in a bad relationship. I was like, why are you tolerating this? So I had to get to that tipping point, if you will, to find the strength and energy to escape, because men by nature, when they're in bad relationships, they don't want to quit. At least that's how I was raised. I just didn't want to quit.
That's true.
Bingo.
Yeah. You don't want to quit.
I've always said that men are competitive by nature.
Yeah.
They are if they can't win the game, they'll just stop playing.
Oh yeah.
So, men will stay in it as long as they think they have a possibility of winning. If they don't, it's over. And I feel like a lot of women don't understand that, and that you can't always make him a loser.
Yeah.
As you know what I mean? You can't always down him and make him the loser in everything you do. So, but that's just my opinion.
That's a good opinion. That's spot on. Men don't like to quit. They don't like to give up. Usually, it takes a lot for a man to come to a woman and say, I want a divorce. Usually it's the woman that has, has carried the bucket of hurt for so long that the woman gets to the point and says, I just can't do this anymore. And quite frankly, as long as a person is in a relationship, as long as they're willing to take things as the way they are, no matter how destructive they are, the other person is going to say, well, why should I stop? If you're going to take it, I'm just going to keep giving it. And so at some point, you have to get to that point where you say, I'm just out of here. I just can't do this anymore. And I think a lot of times people are just afraid to start over, just as much as they are afraid to end something that they've invested themselves in for so many years. So.
And you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I never envisioned being divorced and starting over like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I thought was it was going to be me and, my spouse.
Yeah.
No, not responsible for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Having fun. I just got my daggone passport renewed. But even with all of that being said, Lydia knows I talked to my ex in September about us going separate ways. I wasn't happy. No, I don't want that, Vonda. I don't want a divorce. No. Well, I filed anyway, and you know what? With everything that came after me, and a lot came at me after I filed for divorce, you have no idea how happy I am.
Oh yeah.
Even with COVID-19, went from, a 4-bedroom house. Well, I would never have a 4-bedroom house now. That's me. That's too much. But downsized and moved during the pandemic. I mean, I haven't been here that long.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. I remember when I saw your tweet about moving and stuff, and I was like,
Yes, you commented.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I just come back from Maryland.
Yes.
From 95, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Maryland is the best state ever.
love Maryland. Well, you got to put Detroit in there as the best city ever, because I'm a
Oh my goodness, not Detroit.
hometown
Yeah,
guy.
she's from Chicago.
I got to represent the 313.
Oh my goodness.
But-
Not until you represent the 312.
Staying in bad relationships.
Yeah.
For all of the viewers, it's not, at some point in time, you have to put yourself first. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to do anything for anybody else. Eventually, it's going to weigh on you, and it will have an impact on every single situation that you have going on in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan, and I do not recommend staying in bad relationships.
Yeah.
So now you don't either?
I'm sorry. Oh, are you?
Oh, yeah, what'd you say?
Oh no, I was just gonna add that I don't want to give the impression that I've been some sort of guru my whole life. I haven't. Right. So, when you're 18, 20, 30, whatever, you go through changes, you go through life, and you live and you learn and you mature and you get a little bit better. You get smarter and you make better decisions. And I think that, at any given time, somebody can look at me and say, hey, I remember when you were the bad guy in a relationship.
Right.
You're right. I've evolved as a human being and as an adult to be a little bit more attentive and be a little bit more responsible. And I also say that if you don't have somebody to help you, break free from some of the emotional bondage that you may have in a relationship, sometimes it may just take you talking to somebody, a professional. Maybe if you just go get therapy, because I'm a big fan of therapy. And maybe it just takes somebody to give you a little bit more inspiration and putting those seeds inside your head, planting those seeds to say, you know what, this one needs to grow. This idea of breaking free needs to grow. And once you plant a seed like that, it hardly ever goes away. At some point there's a catalyst. You'll have to make a decision and do something to take some action on getting better control of your mental health. So, where I'm at today is an evolution, and I've learned a lot in that journey. I've learned to be more respectful and mindful of the relationships that I actually do get in, and the level of commitment I put in those relationships is always important to me. And it's always important to me the level of commitment that other people put in having a relationship with me as well. So,
amen.
Yeah,
I think you're spot on as far as having other people come kind of evaluate your relationship too sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to bring everybody in, but just someone you may trust.
That's right.
And just maybe one or two, Vonda says her circle's a dot. You know what I mean?
Right.
My circle is a dot, and that's Lydia is my checker.
And she's my checker.
I call you the things I've called her for, even relationship wise. I was married.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is that sometimes people who are in bad relationships or toxic relationships don't know that they're in bad or toxic relationships. Their eyes are still blind. They don't really know. Like I was saying before about my relationship with the church, I didn't know I was in a toxic relationship. But if for a lot of people who are in bad relationships, period, they think it's normal.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe because of how they were raised or something like that. And we really need to stop putting people down who are in those because you don't really know what they've been through or what they learned growing up.
Right.
And so, but just to make sure that you surround yourself, if you have any other people around that you trust, and it's really hard to open up to other people, especially about your relationship. But if you find someone that you can trust, that you can be honest with, that's not going to throw you under the bus as soon as they get a chance.
Right.
I think that's key. That's major right there, is being able to talk to someone. And even if it has to be a professional, talk to someone and say, hey, look, this is what maybe I'm tripping, but is this right? Or is this wrong?
Yeah. And to your point, Lydia, I think people let's not sort of like downplay this topic, right? This is hard stuff.
It is.
Right.
You know, leaving a relationship, it's hard stuff. There's a lot. There's financial implications. There's implications on children. There's implications on property, travel, where you live. It's not easy at all.
Right.
But that's why I think, like, you know, at least having somebody to help you guide through at least the thinking part about it, it can actually help you create some sort of approach towards it and reconciliation in your head on like those things, those actions that you need to take. But I agree, you need to have somebody to help guide you through that. Whether it's a trusted confidant, a friend, maybe a trusted family member, or you know, maybe a professional help. But I do think there are resources out there that people should actually use to break away, because there's a lot of bondage. There's a lot of reasons why people stay.
Yes.
A lot of reasons. It could be emotional, it could be religious, it could be financial. There's tons of reasons. So none of this stuff is easy.
Children.
Could be kids, exactly. So. Yeah. But as Forrest Gump said, that's all I have to say about that.
All I have to say about that. Okay, Lydia, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I think that's there's, like he said, it's not a very simple thing to just point out, hey, why people stay in relationships. It's like, you know, like in Shrek, it's a bunch of layers, like an onion. There's a bunch of layers to it, and I think we just need to figure out where we are in that, and then you can make the decision. The hardest thing I said, and you said a family member. I'd be careful about family members, because family don't forget. You know, you could tell your family something, and 20 years later, remember when? And you're like, wait a minute, I already got past that. You know what I mean? But
if you don't want her to bring it up, Lydia, you can just loan them some money. Then you never.
Then you'll never see them again. Right. But that's my own thing. You know, just be careful you got to be very careful who you share what's going on in your relationship with, because it's really hard. Yeah. You know, especially sometimes, I mean, I've heard of this where women share something about what's going on with their husband, and the next thing you know, that same woman they shared with is trying to get with their husband.
And the husband come on in.
Right, exactly. Oh, you know, I heard this and that, you know, she's tripping, or, you know.
That's why I said you can't say men cheat, because men and women cheat.
That's true.
Involved in there.
That, you know what, that is true. But the difference between, okay, I know nobody's perfect.
Right.
None of us.
Right.
But the difference between me, and I said on that last segment, yes, I cheated before, but I learned my lesson. I've never gone back down that road. Yeah. Never will. It's not going to happen.
It's kind of like you have
you knew too much.
You have the cheatee and the cheater. So.
And I'm not a cheater. It's not worth it. I mean, never mind. It's just not worth it. So, but Will, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna see. I really appreciate you having me on, Vonda. It's very good to meet you and Lydia. I love you guys both on Twitter, and I love watching your channel. And I'm very, very enthusiastic about seeing it grow. I'm definitely gonna hang around for the long story. Be like, I remember when.
Well, we hope that you'll come back on. And you guys, we can't close out this segment without honoring the notorious RBG.
That's right.
That, I mean, it's all over the news.
Everywhere.
I'm not gonna draw it out. I would just remind all of the viewers, if you haven't, go to Google the latest Wikipedia. Right. Look at what she's done, what she stood for, what she fought for. She's a legend and an icon, and she's gonna be missed.
Yeah.
She's gonna be missed.
I heard today that they're already planning on building a monument in Brooklyn in her honor, and I think that just goes to the character and the legacy that she left. It's not just for women. She's an inspiration to women. She's an inspiration to men. She's an inspiration to people of color, racial equality, and addressing injustices and making some really hard rulings on things that stood on the side of doing the right thing, which I think a lot of times gets lost in the sauce, but definitely a huge personality and a huge supporter of women's rights. And I think you know, there's a vacuum. There were some big shoes to fill, and I just hope that, you know, Mitch McConnell and the Senate. I just hope that we you know, Biden is the guy to pick her successor, because I think that's really what we want to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lydia?
Such a huge loss from a powerful woman that I don't know how we're going to replace her, but I'm sure they'll find someone that'll come somewhat close. But those are some big shoes they're going to have to fill.
Yes.
And especially with all the equality and everything she's done for this nation. I just want to just really honor her and just say, you know, we're thankful for everything she's done.
Very thankful.
Very thankful.
Yes. And so with that being said, I want all of you guys to remember the comeback is always greater than setback, no matter what you're going through. So see you guys next time. Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great one.